guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete, and guess what? I have that one car that can trace its lineage back for decades. It's this car right here. This is a 2023 Jaguar F-Type P450. But before we get into this drop-top two-door British sports car, let's talk about what's going on here. Like I said, the F-Type can trace its lineage all the way back to the 1960s when Jaguar unveiled the E-Type. The car was so revolutionary in design that even Enzo Ferrari himself called it the most beautiful car that he had ever seen. Well, guess what? Jaguar is on the brink of going towards electrification, but you know what? This is still an opportunity to relive some of that magic from the past, but with, of course, new technology in this F-Type. Now, what's fascinating is we've brought you the top dogs, the SVR. That's the one with the most horsepower out of a supercharged V8. Well, guess what? What about this P450? And what the heck does P450 even mean? Well, let's go ahead. Let's take a little tour and dive into this Jaguar F-Type P450 and find out, is it the best new sports car that you should be buying before they're gone and never built ever again? Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, interesting color. It doesn't know if it wants to be beige, it doesn't know if it wants to be gray. It's kind of in between, but you know what? What it does show very nicely is the lines of the F-Type. Looking at the front, a couple years ago, they did refresh it and they changed the headlight design. Still not my favorite from the lineage, but still very sleek, full LED headlights, daytime running lamps, and turn signals. Working your way down, you are gonna get functionality on both corners, driver's side and passenger side, for the heat exchangers, for the air curtain. And I like the way on this particular one, it has this black splitter. So definitely shows the difference between the two colors and shows the aggressive look of the splitter, and it also is functional. So this is meant to stop air from going underneath, or prevent as much air from going underneath the vehicle as possibly can be stopped. The rest of it's gonna scoop into all the coolers. Now, as we come across that low slung nose, it really is a sleek, sexy design. You have that traditional Jaguar shaped grille. We have our dynamic badge. We got the roaring Jag in the center there, and the F-Type name stamped in the bottom. The splitter gets a little bit more aggressive in the center. And then as we rise up onto that long, low slung hood, I like the way you have a bulge that actually starts on the nose of the cat and goes into the hood. You have those two heat extractors. This is the type of hood that I would love to be able to just wash and detail because it's got such sexy lines to it. I almost want to jump on it and just rub my whole body all over it. That's how nice this looks with the way it's shaped. Coming around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup on our particular example. So what you're going to notice, 20-inch wheel. You got that split spoke design, machined aluminum with the gunmetal metallic gray. We have some upgraded Jaguar calipers there. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel and tire? 20-inch wheel, 255 on the width, 35 series sidewall, adaptive suspension, all four corners, and nice large brake rotors. 14.8-inch brake rotors up front, 14.2-inch brake rotors in the rear. And what I mean by 14.8, we're talking about diameter. So this is a 20-inch wheel, that's 20 inches. The rotor is 14.8 inches. Coming down the side, I'm gonna have Steven kind of swing around, show you a little bit of gloss black with the leaping Jag. And we have that classic clamshell opening hood. So just like the original E-Type, the hood opens backwards, and I can't wait to show you what's underneath. We have the top down, and with the top down, it just shows that in coupe form, this is a good looking car, but in convertible, the same is true. We got flush mounted door handles, power folding mirrors, which I have the mirrors folded in since we're parked here with the LED lighting. I like the way it's got that gloss black, just like the splitter side sill extension. And then working our way towards the rear, this is one of my favorite body lines on the car. Comes off the door and into that rear fender. Look at that. The only thing that I wish that this had was a tonneau cover. I don't want to see the cloth top, so that's a zonk. Would like to be a color matched tonneau cover, but I like the black rollover hoops. And then as we drop down, we got a little bit beefier tire on the rear. 295, 255 up front, 295 out back. The reason why they do that is to give you a little bit quicker steering with the skinnier tires up front. Power getting to the rear. This is all-wheel drive, so we got power coming to the rear to get that power to the ground. And then as we swing around that sexy back, just like JT, he's bringing sexy back, so is this Jaguar. Look at the LED lighting, the F-Type badge blacked out. You got your leaping Jag, and what's cool is that this is actually active aero. This will raise and lower at speed. And then when we get down to ground level, love the diffuser gloss black, just like the splitter. And look at that quad tip exhaust. All the detail, staggered tips, nice round opening stainless steel tips. Boy, it's looking good. And then to finish it off, P450 and an all-wheel drive badge. So you're gonna get that all-wheel drive supremacy. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk about what the heck P450 means on this F-Type. All right guys, why am I standing here on the side of the vehicle and not up front? Is because unless you weren't paying attention, you would know that this is that reverse opening clamshell hood. Just like the original E-Type, love the way it rises up. You got your hydraulic hood struts. Underneath the hood, not a lot of sexiness going on. You have this big piece of plastic cover that says Jaguar on it. I just wish they did a little bit more, but Steven's gonna show you that supercharger, because guess what? You get an SVR, you get a P450, everybody gets a supercharged V8. So what are we looking at? We're looking at a 5-liter supercharged V8, 444 horsepower. If you go SVR, you're looking at 575 horsepower. This has 428 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 3.8 seconds, quarter mile in 12.2 seconds, top speed 177 miles per hour. The vehicle weighs 3,953 pounds, MPG 17 in the city, 24 on the highway. So interesting to see how they've changed their lineup. Once upon a time, you could get an F-Pace with a supercharged V6. You could get it with a 4-cylinder turbo, supercharged V8. They really have streamlined the lineup because really, they realize that people want a supercharged V8. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this thing and hear what P450 sounds like. All right guys, come on into the Silicon Silver. That's the name of this color. It'd be funny if you had one of these and you lived in Silicon Valley, because then you would be in Silicon Valley with a Silicon Silver, and maybe you sell silicon. I don't know. To each their own. But anyways, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I had a grandfather that had a Jaguar E-Type, and he used to take me on rides when I was 10 years old in it, and he used to make my heart pitter-patter, and that gave me the passion in cars. And I've always wanted a Jag, but I was also thinking about a C8 Corvette, because everybody and their mother wants a C8 Corvette, so I have to have a C8 Corvette as well. But I'm very curious about this Silicon Silver Jaguar. How much is it? Very good question. The way that this one is optioned, with that supercharged V8 all-wheel drive, your C8 Corvette Stingray does not have all-wheel drive, looking at MSRP of $96,000. Let's see how it stacks up to the competition. To the door panels. I like the two-tone in here. Very classy. The black leather with the stitching. Of course, you have your seat controls mounted high up top like a Mercedes-Benz. 3 memory seat settings. You can see all the adjustability. And then you have the Meridian premium sound system with the white leather. Don't worry, you do get a bottle of leather cleaner to make sure you can clean off all the white leather. And then the door pocket is a good size. You could get that Publix Boar's Head sub, get it all stacked up with some mozzarella and some salami, and then going from the door panel to the dash, more of that great material. Love all the nice touches like the button to open up the glove compartment. Just very tasteful, very well thought out. The stitching, the AC vents actually raise and lower depending on if they're on or off. You got the Jaguar name there. Then you have your infotainment system. Good size. It's got all the functions that you want. You got all your cameras that are easily accessible. My only thing is I wish it just took up more of the screen. That's all. But you do have your navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Blower fan. You got your dual climate control, heated seats, ventilated seats. And the good news is that, which I just shut it off. The good news is that it has this nice rubber trim ring so you're not gonna slip. Love the toggle switches. Love this material that they used here. This is gonna control that 8-speed automatic. It's a ZF 8-speed. You got your mode selector switch. I'll show you that on the business end. We could open up the exhaust, raise, you could drive around the mall parking lot with the rear wing in the up position, and that will raise and lower the top. Push that guy, 2 cup holders, close it up, more stitching, open it up, and you got some felt lining and some kind of card in here. What is this? Interesting. It's a card with an opening in it. I don't know what this is used for, but I'm very curious. We'll see. USB-A's, a 12 volt, and you got enough room in there. I would say you could put 4 Twinkies and don't put any more. And I would get British Twinkies. And if you're wondering, well, what are British Twinkies? British Twinkies are ones that in the cream, there's chopped up fish because they like fish and chips and stuff. You got little chopped up fish in the cream. That sounds great. Seats, nice one-piece back, the Alcantara, the leather, of course, full electric assist for the passenger and the driver. And then you can see that with the top up, I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of room in here. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the digital gauge display in this F-Type. All right, guys, business time. Ring-a-ding-a-ding-dong. You got 3 memory seat settings for the driver. Love the aluminum sill plate with the R Dynamic badge. And then look at the pedal box. Aluminum brake pedal and throttle. My only zonk is there's no aluminum dead pedal, but I love the pedal box. Seats feel fantastic, and I almost forgot. What does P450 means? It's because it's close to the horsepower. This has 444 horsepower, so they do a little like rounding, and they kind of rounded the wrong way because normally if you don't have a number that's great, that's 5 or greater, you round down. Well, they rounded up to 444 horsepower to 450. That's why it's called the P450. Now, seats, amazing. Steering wheel, same thing. The leather, you got this solid black stripe, top dead center. I wish they would have done some contrast stitching, especially with the black and the white. So I am gonna zonk that. You got heated steering wheel, flat black on all the switch gear. You do have your paddles on the back of the steering wheel to go up and down that 8-speed automatic. And it is a power tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then of course you got that beautiful gauge cluster that depending on the mode that you're in will change. So here we are, dynamic mode confirmed. And that's going to change up how you see things. I like the way the map is in the center there. And then you have a nice hood, cluster hood with the stitches. Looks really good. Now I'm not gonna show you a back seat because there isn't one. So we're gonna move on to the trunk and then we're gonna go on throttle in this Jag. All right guys, time to get into the trunk area. Hit the button, lift it up. You're looking at about 7 cubic feet of space. Not a lot, but remember this is a convertible, so it is actually quite surprising. You'll notice down here we have our official Jaguar leather cleaner, luxury leather cleaner. We have a little box of goodies, some chocolates, and then you don't get a spare. You get this bag that has this image on it. Now either that's a snake attacking the tire, or this is telling me that when you get a flat, psh, there's a electric air compressor and tire sealant in this bag. I'm gonna go with option B rather than option A, which is a snake that's gonna attack your tires. But why don't we go ahead, flip that down. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's fire up this P450 and go on throttle in this Jag. All right guys, we're inside this 2023 Jaguar F-Type P450. I'm gonna put it into manual shift mode And if you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go, yeah! Nice! Absolutely phenomenal with how this thing gets power to the ground. That all-wheel drive, you are so hooked up. Yes, you could go get a C8 Corvette, but this thing is so freaking hooked up. I'm so glad that they give you two different options now if you want to go supercharged V8 power. But let's go on throttle some more. On throttle! Yeah, that sound! On those brakes. Nice downshift. Nice. Woohoo! I tell you, it's a unique car. It's a damn shame that they didn't keep evolving this, but to have such a good-looking car that sounds as good as it does, nothing is artificial. It's all coming out of that quad-tip exhaust. The ZF 8-speed automatic, obviously used on many different vehicles, is a great gearbox. Steering is a little on the lighter side, even though I'm in dynamic mode. I would like to see the steering just have a little bit more feedback, but amenities on the inside, very, very comfy. And then you go on throttle, here it goes. Nice. It's like getting kicked in the back of the head by a donkey. That's the nice purposeful shifts. I love the way that as you go through the rev range and you get close to that 7,500 RPM red line, the tach starts to flash red to let you know it's time to shift to the next gear if you're using the paddles. And the fact that the paddles are metal, they're not plastic, is another nice touch. I'm gonna go ahead, I gotta put the top down. So you just push the button on the dash. That's gonna put the top down for you. And you could do it while you're moving too. You get a little bit of a chime. I'm gonna put up the side glass. Hopefully you can still hear me. First gear, on throttle. Oh, oh, oh. The sound. Look at this. Yeah! Woohoo! They are just not making cars like these very often. It would be interesting to actually have a manual transmission in this thing. I would absolutely eat that up. And to put the top back up, you got to get the speed down to about 30 miles an hour, and then we could put the top back up. So it's nice to be able to put it up while you're moving. It's actually very fast getting into that up position. Tells you that the roof is latched, and then it even puts up the side windows, all by the press of one button, or I should say the lift of one button. But seats are phenomenal. Getting to the infotainment system is well within reach. And just all the finishes in here, it really feels like you're wrapped in something special. And I think that's the nice touch about this car, is you don't see a lot of them, and you're in something special. You go to a Cars and Coffee event, everybody and their mother has a C8 Corvette now, a C8 Stingray Corvette. Nice to have something different, but yet has a ton of fun. And you don't have to go all the way with SVR. I mean, SVR would be the next greatest level. I mean, think about it, over 550 horsepower in the same platform. But this P450 gets it done very nicely. But we're gonna get back to Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been one heck of a day out here at Jaguar Land Rover St. Petersburg. Definitely got to thank Miro and the rest of the crew getting us access to this 2023 Jaguar F-Type P450. Let me know what you think. Is this the best new convertible sports car that you would buy? Let me know down in that comment section how you feel about it. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radius Rides family. We got to give it up, Stephen Flood Photography. He's actually allergic to cats, which is kind of interesting because when we were filming this Jaguar, he started sneezing. So I don't know if it's just actual real felines or even cars that have a feline on them. But show Steven some love in the comment section. He's gonna get to CVS and get himself some antihistamines. We'll get you help, Steven, and thank you for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.